I'm so forgettable. These two amendments that I've tabled are not the sort of weighty issue like the sexual crimes that we've been discussing, but they are an issue of democracy, and I would like to thank the government on this occasion for making this gigantic bill so huge that it actually does, these two amendments do come within scope. There are two distinct issues in my amendments. So Amendment 278 is focused on the abolition of police and crime commissioners, and Amendment 279 is about abolishing the £5,000 deposit needed to stand as a candidate for police and crime commissioner elections. Now, under the referendum idea, each police area would have its own referendum held on the same day as the next police and crime commissioner election. The question would be whether to keep police and crime commissioners or return to the police authorities made up of a committee of local councillors. Importantly, for a referendum, my amendment also includes provision that the Secretary of State must then implement the result by statutory instrument, because these are intended to be a binding referendum, not an advisory one with no legal consequence. The Green Party does not believe that police and crime commissioners have been a success. They've replaced a democratic committee-based system with a directly elected position which is subject to very little scrutiny. Now, most normal people don't pay much attention to politics, and that's true across the board. But when you get as far down the pecking order as police and crime commissioners, even many political boffins probably couldn't name their local PCC. It was an unnecessary political experiment, and local people should be given the option to return to the old system of committee governance. Now, we do have one former Met Commissioner here, and he might be able to agree with me that the Met Police Authority and the Assembly Committee that was charged with holding the police to account worked extremely well. So I'm not suggesting something that hasn't been proved to work in the past. Amendment 279 is about deposits, and my amendment is limited to PCC elections due to the scope of the bill, but election deposits should be abolished completely for all elections. They supposedly exist to actually deter joke candidates, and so allowing only serious candidates to stand for election. But it's obvious that that just doesn't work. There are plenty of joke candidates who aren't deterred by the deposit. One only has to think back to the Prime Minister's election battle against Lord Buckethead, Count Binface, and a person dressed as Elmo. All three lost their deposits and seemed to thoroughly enjoy doing so. The 2019 general election saw 1,273 parliamentary candidates each lose their £500 deposit in the PCC elections. That totals £636,500. The figure included 465 Green Party candidates, 136 Liberal Democrats, 165 Brexit Party candidates, and 190 independent candidates. So joke candidates were not deterred, and neither were very committed candidates who wished to stand for election to help improve their local area. But the outcome is that the established parties, I mean the Conservative Party and the Labour Party, end up keeping most of their deposits, and everything they do lose is a drop in the ocean for their overall party budgets. But the smaller parties and independent candidates suffer from a huge financial disadvantage. Election deposits are nothing more than an election tax on people who want to participate in the democratic process, and they should be abolished. I beg to move.
Amendment proposed.